Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel English Literature. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, then do subscribe to it so that you never miss an update. In today's video, I will discuss with you Reformation in English literature. First of all, I will give you an idea about what is Reformation, then I will take you in its historical background, and ultimately I will tell you its impact on English literature. Well, Renaissance and Reformation, the two important movements, began effective at about the same time in England. Reformation, a religious movement, started in Germany, aiming at the liberation of conscience of the people from authority of the Pope and Catholic Church. Martin Luther, a monk, began it in 1517 in Germany. John Calvin started it in Switzerland, and John Knox began it in Scotland. Martin Luther was miffed with the malpractices and corruption prevalent in church, and he was hurt to see clergies indulge in all kinds of vices. He wanted people to interpret the text of the Bible in their own way. His followers were known as Protestants. Reformation proved a moral reaction against Renaissance, but in the long run, it ushered an era of religious liberty and freedom of expression. Though the seeds of Protestant Reformation were sown by John Wycliffe and his followers Lollards in 14th century, but that seeds turned out into saplings and bore fruits in 16th century. Now I am going to take you into the historical background. In late 15th century, two important events happened in England. The first was in political sphere, the end of the Wars of the Roses, and other happened in religious and social domain, that was the advent of printing press in England. In 1485, Henry Tudor, who was later known as Henry VII of Lancastrian descent, defeated Richard III of House of York at the Battle of Bosworth, and thus ended the Wars of Roses fought between 1455 to 1485 between two royalties, House of Lancaster, whose emblem was red rose, and House of York, whose symbol was white rose, for the throne of England, and founded Tudor dynasty in England. He married daughter of York, Elizabeth, and thus had good relations with both the royal families. He was welcomed by the people and loved by the people, and peace dawned all across England. He was a very progressive king, expanded education, and sent literary men to Rome and Greece to study culture and literature. Second thing that happened was the invention of printing press, which was set up by William Caxton in England in 1476. Prior to that, he gave us first book, Recoils of the Histories of Troy, that he got published in Burgess. Both the events revolutionized both the movements. Henry VII died in 1509, and his eldest son Arthur sat on the throne but died after some months. Then came a very powerful king, Henry VIII, on the throne, who ruled over England from 1509 to 1546. He married his brother's widow, Catherine of Aragon, and begot daughter Mary. In order to have male heir, he married 6 times. The name of his 6 queens are Catherine of Aragon, who died in 1536, Anna Boleyn, who was executed in 1536, Jane Seymour, died in 1537, Anna of Cleves died in 1557, Catherine Howard died in 1542, and last one, Catherine Parr, died in 1548, etc. He had 3 children from 3 different wives: Mary from Catherine, Elizabeth from Anna Boleyn, and Edward VI from Jane Seymour. And all the 3 children ruled over England. Sir Thomas More, who served the king as Chancellor of England, said about the king, "If a lion knew his strength, it were hard for any man to hold him." King Henry VIII wanted to have his marriage with Catherine annulled by the Pope, but Pope didn't accept, and it was not easy for the king to execute Catherine, not also to get rid of her, because she was the aunt of very powerful King Philip II of Spain. In 1534, King Henry renounced the authority of Pope and became himself the head of the church. English became the official language of the church instead of Latin. After his death, his Protestant son Edward VI sat on the throne till 1553, and English Reformation progressed towards Protestantism. After Edward VI's death, his sister became the ruler, who tried to reinstate Catholicism in England and executed many Protestants and was called as Bloody Mary. She married with King Philip II of Spain but died in 1558. Now came on the throne more progressive, powerful, and liberal Queen Elizabeth I, who ruled over England till 1603. With her death in 1603, Tudor dynasty ended. She promoted Protestantism in England. She allowed both the Catholics and Protestants to live in peace, and the sovereignty of Roman Church was replaced by authority of English Church. The printing press produced books in abundance and went directly to the people to read, and then came to know that man is directly accountable to God rather than clergies for his deeds. Hudson says, while the Renaissance aroused the intellect and the aesthetic faculties, the Reformation awakened the spiritual nature. The same printing press which produced knowledge of the classics, put the Bible in the hands of the people, and spread the interest in religion was inevitably accompanied by a deepening of moral earnestness. The unification of Renaissance and Reformation gave birth to new spirit of rationalism, renouncement of papal authority, expansion of knowledge, development of languages, which resulted in development of Puritanism. Reformation's influence on English literature. Reformation influenced the literature immensely. William Tyndale's translations of New Testament opened new styles of writing and inspired writers. In his Bible, 97% words were Anglo-Saxons. His unfinished works were completed by Miles Coverdale, and Miles Coverdale gave us first printed complete Bible in English in 1535, in which there were both the New and the Old Testament. Erasmus' Praise of Folly was published in 1509. Later it was translated in English and published in 1549. And Thomas More's Utopia was published in 1516 in Latin, and later it was published in English in 1551. Inspired the successive writers where he describes his an idea of society, ideal society, and it was influenced by Plato's Republic. The Common Prayer book, written by Cranmer, the Archbishop of Canterbury, under the guidance of Henry VIII and Edward VI, also strengthened and inspired English language and literature. The authorized version of the Bible that came in 1611 was written under the supervision of King James I, infused verve and vitality into English language and literature. Hope that you will like this video. If you like this video, then do share it with your friends. Thank you, and thank you very much.